Fight with me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Daily Rage Quit. I'm your host, Weiss, and alongside me, the one, the only, Steelman.
What's going on, y'all? Hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you're commenting on what you guys think of this video. We want to know what you think about the Call of Duty Alpha so far, if you got a chance to play it or not.
We finally got a chance to get our hands on Call of Duty Cold War, done by the Treyarch team. It was recently announced from the PlayStation conference earlier this week that the PlayStation community would have first access to the alpha. And what's interesting is that Steelman and I got a chance to play the alpha over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and we got a little bit of Sunday going. And we really got a chance to dive in, understand what's going on, and what Treyarch is trying to release to the community. And team, we got a surprise here for you. But it's not really. It's the Daily Rage Quit. We got to talk about what we're missing here, man. And it is going to be a little interesting coming from such a great AAA title like Call of Duty Modern Warfare by Infinity Ward. So, Steelman, let's just kick it off. And let's just get kind of like what you got out of the last 15 hours of gameplay when you jumped into the Call of Duty Cold War franchise there in multiplayer.
Yeah, like I was expecting a lot. I thought, I love the Black Ops series, the 1 and 2. The other ones are not that great, but I was excited about this. I thought it was going to be a good one. I thought that Modern Warfare did such a great job, put a lot of effort, a lot of work into their game, and it would be easy for anybody following that up to just piggyback on their success, do everything that they did, add a new era of guns, like a Cold War era of guns to it, keep the same customization, the same stats, and all that stuff. It'd be easy for that to happen, but that's not what they did. Surprising, or not surprising, yeah. So it boggles my mind a little bit of what Treyarch was doing when they came to the board and sat down and said, well, this is what we want to do. But some of the things that really bothered me, and I know you did the same thing I did when we first jumped in, is we tried to run through a door and realized that the door doesn't open. And then you realize after playing that there are absolutely no doors in the game and no doors open, and you don't have to worry about any of the doors, which was fine for old Call of Duties, but this last Call of Duty really made door mechanics a big part of the game. And you don't realize how big of a part of the game are until they're gone. And I started to think about it. I'm like, you know what? It made for some tense moments when you have doors in the game. You don't know what's on the other side of the door when you come to a door. Like, there could be an enemy behind it. They could be hiding in the corner behind the door. You can't even see the room behind the door. So you don't know what's going on there. So you have to decide how to approach that, or you have to go around. In Cyber Attack and Search and Destroy and some of those competitive game modes, it made for some really tense moments when you're trying to plant the bomb and you have to go through a door to get in there. You have to be quiet on how you open the door, and they still might hear that. And that audible cue makes for a very tense moment because you don't know who heard you come through that door. If you run through the door and bang the door, everyone heard you come through the door, or your teammates could have heard you go through the door. They know where you are now. Like, this all helps paint a mental picture when you're playing the game. And when you're the last guy in the game, you don't want to go banging doors around the map and stuff like that. Like, so you had to be cautious. You had to be careful. The visual cues. You see a door open, someone came through there. You see the door open one way, they came through that way. Like, it's like all these things added to the immersion of the game. It added a new dimension to the game, and now it's just gone. Like, and they just take it out of the game. And like, sure, like, does it ruin the game? Will people get used to it? No, but like, I like having more dimensions to the games as we continue down the timeline of video games than like taking them out. Like what's the point? So like that was something that bothered me. There's no tack sprint. Like, that was another dimension, like getting a tack sprint every once in a while where you could really sprint out of somewhere really quickly.
Yeah.
the vaulting mechanics like are just like the camera just goes like up and over like these huge walls. There's no like hands grabbing or like pulling yourself up. Like it's like no, like it's so archaic. It's just so like all they had to do is put these simple things in there, and maybe they'll get the something like that in the final build of the game, but I doubt it. And the guns all feel the same.
No weight. No weight whatsoever.
Nothing. I just went and fucked around with the LMGs for a little bit. The time to kill is the exact same on the LMGs as it is for a submachine gun. Like it's just like there's just no imagination to any of this stuff. Like it's just like one of those weird things where they seem to have just been like, hey, like let's just get this game done. And I know we had a really successful past Call of Duty, but this one doesn't need to be as successful. Let's just get something out there. And like, and the final note is the kill streaks. Like what's going on with those? They're so dumbed down. It's like, oh, everyone gets a kill streak. Everyone, you could just kill people forever and get it. Like everyone's gonna get a spy plane now. So it's like you have to have Ghost on because there's a million spy planes because it doesn't take. You just need to go shoot a bunch of people over a time period. There is no actual streak. I don't even know why they call them score streaks because there is no streak to it. Like, I mean, you can go on a streak and it'll expedite the duration of time, but that takes to get one. But you don't need to do that. You can just play the game normally. Like all this stuff, and then actually the final one for me is mounting. I know not everyone used mounting. I used mounting, and I used it very like tactically. Like I knew when like there was a corner right next to me, and I was shooting at that corner, and I could see a guy. I would just snap to that corner because I knew that most of my body would be hidden. I used it quite often, and I used it well. Like, and I enjoyed it, and it saved my ass more times than it didn't. And I understand that some people were just kind of like, I never really remembered to do it, but like. I'm telling you, if you use mounting, like you would survive a lot more in Call of Duty games, especially in competitive modes. And it sucked to have that out. Like they just took that out, and that's just gone. All of these things that I've mentioned just seem like they are time-oriented stuff where they're like, hey, we can get this game out. We just need to get rid of mounting, get rid of vaulting, get rid of tac sprint, get rid of doors, all this stuff, and we'll get the game out on time. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. Activision's like, yeah, go for it. Like, that's what it seems like. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? This is my rant.
And team, make sure you comment down below. Steelman just went on a rampager. Him and I were talking about this previously, and you could feel the tenseness behind it. And it's simple, right? You've got two different companies going, right? You got Infinity Ward, who launched, honestly, a killer AAA, probably one of the best AAA titles of the year by far. I mean, they were super successful. And you got Treyarch coming in, and it's like they didn't connect with each other at all. They didn't figure out some of the patterns that worked and still make it special on their own. I'll tell you this, Steelman, some of those things, the doors, I ran into like so many walls thinking I could just slide through a door or run through it. I felt stupid. I was like, okay, so the whole idea is just that it's just a maze now. There's no difference there. You have to find the open doors and just run through this maze up and down, left and right, and you're right, those special moments with doors when you could, in Modern Warfare, not only just open a door, but crack it because you know that there's a line of sight where somebody is definitely going to run through. That was super special, and like it just added an element of immersion, and the game lacks that immersion for sure through all that. Problem.
One more point on that too. I just thought of is that like now the nade spam is so much more too, because like you can just throw nades through doors. Like you don't have to open a door and throw a nade through. You just run up to it and throw it. So like, I mean, and that's the other thing is grenade timers are fucking outrageous. Everyone's saying that.
They're gonna change. They have to
change it. I agree.
It takes like 2.5 seconds to even get a grenade ready to go before you can throw it. So you can't actually draw back and throw something. You have to like pre-throw your grenades, which I think is kind of horseshit there.
Tuck put it best when he said that if you try to throw a grenade when you see a person, you're dead. Like you're not gonna get it off. Like there's no way.
Dead. It doesn't matter. It could be the grenade or it could be your secondary. It didn't really matter because it was really foobarred. And also, by the way, the grenade indicator was was a little. They're going to tweak that. There's
Yeah,
no doubt in my mind.
that's alpha shit. That's alpha shit.
The other thing that really interested me was the TTK, but more importantly, we all know that TTK is higher, right? It takes longer to kill someone, which it kind of pissed me off because I'm shooting someone in the back, and usually you should kill someone faster if you shoot them in the back, but it didn't happen. Even someone who I unloaded a half a clip, it was still like, and then they ran off and then still killed me.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing. So as I'm playing and, I'm learning about the weapons and all that, it came to me right away that the semi-automatic sniper rifle, this game is going to, if I can predict it, is just going to be a sniper game because that's the fastest way to kill someone. And it's pretty quick. Scope or no scope. 2 shots, you're dead. That's fast. And
someone one shot.
One shot. No scope one shots.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the balancing of weapons becomes irrelevant, right? You're close range. Here's what I figured. Like the MP5 was great. The shotguns were okay, but people were still sniping me in close range with no scoping. So all of a sudden, what's the point of having all these different weapons if it's just going to end up being a shootout between 3 different weapons? There's no balance there. Like if I'm using an M4 as an example, which actually ran great in the game, it shoots well, it felt good, but I had no chance against somebody who was long range, where as in Modern Warfare, I had a chance against snipers because if I have my target right on for headshots, I got the win every single time. But in this case, it didn't feel that way, and that balance is just so important. And we all know it's an arcade style game. It's arcadey as hell, just like Modern Warfare, but if you're just gonna have 3 guns that are gonna run it, that is what really worries me about a game like this, where someone's gonna put in $60 and all they're gonna do is jump into a game where it's all snipers.
$70 now.
Oh shit.
Fucking $70. Get ready.
Y'all better save your money, your government checks, whatever it is, because $70 for this game, I don't get the feeling it's worth $70 whatsoever. The single player campaign may be great.
I was thinking about that. It could be good.
It could be good, but really for me, when you think about it, it's the overall AAA packages are single player and multiplayer. Is it worth $70?
Never bought a Call of Duty for its single player. Like, let's be real. So I don't think many people have. But I think what you touched on there is really important, and I think it comes down to the attachments. The attachments not feeling like they do a whole lot. The attachments, the statistics for them, like being really out there and like no one really knowing what any of the statistics do. Like there's 4 bars, like one's like firepower, and it's like, oh, what the fuck is firepower? Like, and like, I don't know, like some of the nomenclature they used is just totally out there. Like they just took their own nomenclature out of like left field and were like, hey, we're just gonna put this in there. And it was like, whereas Modern Warfare actually put in the time to like research like what people in the firearm industry would like call some of these things, and they did a really good job. They consulted people from that, and therefore they got a game where people were like, oh, this makes sense. Like this attachment, sprint to fire speed is a thing. Like there was no sprint to fire speed in this game. It's like it's called something else, and I don't even know if that's it. Like all they had to do was copy and paste this stuff from Modern Warfare and keep this like the statistics. Like they tried to oversimplify it, and it's just like no one wants that. Like you don't know what you're getting out of an attachment now, and and the guns still feel the same. Like they don't do anything different now. Like they don't operate differently. I mean, like, yeah, if you put a suppressor on, it's gonna be quieter, and like, yeah, we get that. But like your foregrips, like every foregrip in Modern Warfare was different. Like, I mean, you had like 20 different foregrip options, whether it was like under barrel grenades or versus like an actual grip, but all of them affected the gun differently, and you felt it and you knew that, and you understood that there was a give and take to every single attachment that you had. In this, there's none of that. Like I haven't seen any of that yet, and maybe they'll tweak that for the final build, but there would be a lot of tweaking to be done. I don't see it happening.
That's a major tweak, adding weight to the game like that. I think if the game's not built for the weight, you're not. I don't think the alpha is going to change the weight of the weapons
Nah.
and the weight in which you move and shoot. You're absolutely right. I mean, Warfare crushed on that. They understood it. If you felt it, it was the immersion part. Where this is, honestly, you can pick up any gun and it feels like, you've used this term before, just a paper mache gun running around and you just deal with what is best for your style of gameplay. It's not really necessarily about the weight, how you move or how you shoot it, the recoil or anything like that. It's more simply about picking your favorite weapon and jumping into a game, which, again, I'm just going to repeat this. It's all going to end up being snipers based off of what I've seen, what happens. It's going to be a sniper game, man. And eventually they'll make changes to TTK. I know they're going to. They're going to tweak it.
They have to.
But the problem is, man, like, you're going to run around with a shotgun, and if the shotgun's going to deal as much damage as, like, the MP5, and you know the MP5 is going to kill quicker just simply because that's how the mechanics work, everyone's going to just choose the same guns. It's going to be an MP5, semi-automatic sniper, game over. That's going to be the loadouts every single time, and that doesn't really make it fun. It really just makes the game the same. Every time you play, you're like, oh, here we go. It's like, here's the same game. So hopefully they learn from this alpha. They can tweak some of the stuff, but the weight that you mentioned, I highly doubt they have the time to tweak it enough to make you feel the weight.
Yeah, I don't think they do either. And the snipers just, when we played the 12v12 maps, the bigger maps, when I was in there, I just got fucking sniped from every location. I had no idea where anyone was. I mean, like, it's a one-shot kill. Like, we played that. I remember I was with like 4 or 5 dudes, and we played that game mode for about maybe like 10 minutes, and we were just like, this is awful. Like, it's just sniper fest. Like, and there's no glints on some of these rifles. I guess if you use the more high-powered ones, there is a glint. Someone told me they saw a glint, but I didn't see a glint pretty much. I don't think I ever saw a glint from a sniper. And you know, it's a one-shot kill. Like, I think what they need to do is they need to reserve one-shot kills for headshots and like center chest. Like, if you get hit here, it's not a one-shot kill. You get here, it's not a one-shot kill. Like make it really hard to snipe somebody in a one-shot kill. But yeah, you're right. Like, it's gonna be snipers. Like, people are all gonna have snipers. The aim down sights speed for the snipers is just ridiculous. Like, it's just so fast. I was watching my kill cams and it's just like, whoa boom, whoa boom, whoa boom, whoa boom. I'm like what the fuck, man? Like, at least Modern Warfare did a pretty good job of slowing down snipers aim down sight speed. But yeah, again, step back.
It's interesting, and it's good that they gave us the alpha access to go in there and do it. We saw a lot of things. There's one other thing I do need to touch on. I actually thought the menu screen and the home screen was kind of clunky.
Yeah.
It didn't have a nice flow to it whatsoever. I feel like what they did is, and this is my final piece here on things that they missed and that they could tweak, fix the home screen, fix the movement, fix inviting people, all that.
Yeah.
It just felt like, you know, Treyarch tried to squeeze everything as much as possible on the main screen, and what it became is just clutter. And I really, when I first jumped in, I was like, okay, so I could figure out the movement. They took some things from Modern Warfare, but in the end, I was like, wow, this is really, really clunky. It was kind of like not their major project on each one, and this was like the lowest priority. Cool, let's just put it together, slap it, you're good to go. So hopefully they fix the clunkiness on that. That's something that I know they could change within an alpha, but it just felt very clunky.
Yeah, I agree with you. The menus just weren't great. I immediately reckon I don't think I was ever able to invite anyone. None of my friends showed up on my, but that's a Modern Warfare problem as well. So yeah. I won't count that against them. But yeah, I guess my final thoughts is that, you know, this game feels rushed. It feels rushed. And listen, I know all the AAA titles do the same shit with these sequels you crank out year after year. Modern Warfare was developed after Activision kind of realized that Call of Duty franchise was in dire situation. They're bleeding sales numbers from those futuristic games, and they needed a game to bring back people to the franchise. So they knuckled down. They came into the boardroom with the idea for Modern Warfare, and you know, they innovated. They created the best Call of Duty of all time, and they really brought new features to the game and made it polished and perfect. I mean, that game was so unbelievably well done that I haven't seen a game that well done in a very long time.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether it was making the decision to work on the real world firearms, work with real firearm specialists and mocap, or taking the time to learn how different attachments behave in real life and mimicking them in the game, and the stat fields, like Modern Warfare nailed it across the board. With all that being said, it was very easy to see that Cold War had didn't capitalize on Modern Warfare's success, but instead seemed to return to rest on their laurels. And you know, these laurels are like 8 or 9 years old, in my opinion. Like this game could have been a sequel to Black Ops. I mean, the graphics look a ton better, but the gameplay is the same as the Black Ops 1, essentially. And I think that's a step back. And you know, I just think that what we're doing here is that it's a rushed and lazy game. Activision is almost like, wow, Modern Warfare sold way better than we imagined. We've created a game that you know, Modern Warfare was a success. Warzone was a success. We sold all these little trinkets and doodads to all these little kids who love their skins and all that stuff, and they made a ton of money. And instead of saying, hey, you know, let's use that money to create another great game and do this again, they said, hey, let's cut the budget in half and just put out a game. And we know that all those people who enjoyed Modern Warfare, a majority of them are going to go and buy this game regardless.
Sure. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's how we'll make their money. And I honestly think this is a legitimate, viable business strategy when it comes to these AAA titles. Like, I think they know this. I think they know this years down the road, that they say, hey, if we put in all this work on a really good title and release it and it sells really well, we will get X amount of number of people that we can count on to buy the next game, even if it's trash. And we don't need to put in all those hours again and invest all that money into developing a AAA title game. We could just put out a little fucking dinky game like this, and it'll sell plenty well to carry us over into the next season. And that's what they're doing. Like, this has to be something that's talked about years in advance. Like, I don't think this is a mistake. Let's put it that way. Like, I don't think they come there and they're like, this is what, you know, oh, well, I guess we just didn't have enough time. No, this is their strategy all along. I truly believe that.
I think from an overall perspective, just to reiterate what you said, it's a strategy. It's two different companies making the game too, and Infinity Ward just went ham sandwich on Modern Warfare. It really, I like how you put it. It is the best Call of Duty game launched in Activision's entire genre. I mean, Modern Warfare 2, what blew everyone out of the water. This one is just, it leveled up. It felt fresh. It felt new with some old nostalgic pieces, and coming in, and most importantly, there has been so much hype around this game. Cold War had more hype than Modern Warfare. They were doing so much advertising. They were doing so much in-game experiences, which actually I thought was amazing. Activision marketing team, give it to them. They killed it. They sent like these codes to the top streamers and care packages to share all this different information. And so everybody, you, me, our squad, everybody that's been playing Call of Duty has been so overly hyped on this that when I jumped in, the hype did not meet the expectation of the game from an alpha perspective. It was okay. There was nothing wrong with it being a game. I didn't feel like it met that hype. I was expecting something astronomical. I was expecting something that is going to meet or exceed the Modern Warfare genre, and you're right on the money, man. It was just like, it felt like an afterthought game.
Either way, it's just not there. So, and granted, like, we know this is an alpha, we understand that, but like, we're really trying to talk about the things that are not going to make it into the final build of the game because they aren't in the alpha. Like, you can't add certain things in, and I don't want to be too critical of the alpha, but also, like, I think we did a pretty good job here of keeping it into the realm of things that we'd expect of an alpha. So.
For sure. All right, guys, that is another episode of the Daily Rage Quit. Be sure to subscribe down below. We need to keep these videos fucking going, and we love creating content for you, so hit the subscribe button. And be sure to like, or dislike. We need to know if you like our shit or not.
Yeah, guys, comment below whether or not you had fun playing the game, and if you like the alpha, if you expect that the alpha will mimic the final build. Let us know. From all us at the Daily Rage Quit, peace.
Peace.